G'day, I'm Matt, and this is the new generation BMW X1, which is a very good compact luxury SUV. Now in the past, the X1 has always been a little bit compromised because the first generation one was just basically a 3 Series wagon that had been lifted and SUV-ified. And the second generation version was basically a Mini Countryman, but with BMW badges. This one, it's its own thing, and it's all the better for it. Stay tuned and I'll tell you why. Thanks for watching. I hope you are enjoying what you are seeing so far. Please do hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And also make sure you hit us up in the comments and let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to review. Thanks. There are 2 different versions of the BMW X1 petrol-powered range available from launch. This is the entry-level version. It's called the S-Drive 18i, and I think it's pretty good value for money. The S in S-Drive is something that you want to keep in mind though. That means that it's front-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive. If you need all-wheel drive, you need to step up to the X-Drive 20i, which is the next model up the range. It gets a more powerful engine, and it also gets all-wheel drive and a few more extras inside. So is that the right car for you? You'll have to make up your own mind. Both vehicles come as standard with adaptive LED lighting. There's keyless entry and push button start. You get twin digital screens on the inside, sat nav, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and fake leather trim. If you step up to the X-Drive 20i, you get 19-inch wheels instead of 18s. You get heated and electrically adjustable front seats and a few extras alongside that. I should also mention that there's now an electric version of the X1. It's called the iX1, and there are 2 different versions of it available, both priced at about $85,000. So a pretty big jump up over the petrol-powered versions. Let me know if you'd like me to do a review of that car, and I'll see if I can get to it. I've already done a review of what I think could be the best alternative to this car. It's the Volvo XC40. Hit the link at the top of your screen and you can check it out. Now that car comes with, like this one, a choice of petrol or electric versions. It's very well packaged and it's a nice, properly premium feeling little SUV. It could be the right car for you. Another model you might want to check out is the Audi Q3, which doesn't have an electric version available, but it does have an RS performance variant, and it is an absolute cracker. And it's also available in SUV, but also the swoopy roof Sportback version. Yeah, there's a lot to like there. The other option you might want to consider is not a luxury branded small SUV. It's from Cupra, the Cupra Formentor, and it has a range of different powertrains available. It's one of the most impressive newcomers that I've driven in a while. Check out my review up there and you will enjoy that car if you like to drive. Like a lot of new generation models, the BMW X1 has gotten bigger this time around. It's 4.5 meters long, which means it's not a small SUV. In fact, it's not even the smallest BMW SUV you can buy. Now, the X2 is smaller than the X1. So confusing. I don't know why they do that. Anyway, it is 4.5 meters, as I said, but it's also tall. So that means that it's got a boxy-ish body, and that means that it's got a big boot. Every single BMW X1 comes with an electric boot, which is a nice thing to have. And it also comes with a bloody big boot. There's 540 litres of cargo capacity in here, and that is absolutely massive. There's a huge storage section underneath there, and that's so big because there is no spare tyre. You don't get a spare tyre in a BMW because it has run flat tyres. And if you've never experienced having a run flat and having a tow truck come and get you and then having to have the car taken away for a week and then waiting for a tyre, it's really frustrating. The interior of the new generation BMW X1 does feel like you're sitting in a proper luxury SUV. The existing X1s certainly haven't felt that way, but this one, yeah, it lives up to the badge. There's no doubt about that. The interior does have some really nice finishes as well. These are not leather, but they look and feel like leather. And these seats are very comfortable. They're nicely sculpted. The materials on the dashboard are beautiful as well. I love this stitching on this soft finish on top of the dash. This kind of meshy metallic finish. There's ambient lighting as well. And obviously you've got these massive screens. They're both more than 10 inches in size, so they are huge. This one's the touchscreen for your media, your sat nav, all that sort of stuff. Then you've got a driver info screen here as well, which is very easy to come to terms with. The controls are mostly pretty easy to get your mind around, although it does take a little while for you to figure out that, well, you've still got to do the fan controls through the screen. There is a nice little bar down here, the climate menu, so you can just hit the climate thing and then you can adjust the fan, and there's always temperature controls there. So unlike some other cars, there is some smarts to the screen interaction. There's also a volume scroller down here for the audio system. This is the shifter. It's a very strange shifter and it does take a little bit of getting used to. One thing that I really like is that there's a section here to wirelessly charge your phone, and it's got a little cradle so you can actually make sure that your phone is going to stay put. I like that. There's cup holders here. The bottle holders in the doors are quite small but big enough to fit a 600 ml bottle. Weirdly, this little storage section here opens that way, so it's kind of going to be in the way for the driver if you're trying to access stuff there, but there's a big storage section underneath here. This car also has an optional panoramic sunroof fitted. It's part of a package that you can option that includes a few things that you probably might want. I'll put the price on the screen now so you can figure out whether it's worth it to you though. All right, backseat. Backseat space in this new generation BMW X1 is very good. This seat is set for me at 182 centimeters or 6 foot tall. I got plenty of knee room, lots of foot room, and really, really good headroom as well. And I reckon you could fit 3 adults across the back here without too much fuss. There is a little bit of a transmission tunnel to contend with, but that's not too bad. Now, one of the party tricks of this car is that it has sliding second row seats. So if you need a bigger boot, you can make a bigger boot, or you can offer your passengers a bit more space in the back. And it's a 60-40 split base. So this is the 40 side, this is the 60 side. And also there's a flip down armrest in here as well with cup holders, which is nice. There's also a fold down section for this middle seat. So basically you can have it as a ski port, I guess, or you can just have it as an extra armrest. And on the topic of armrests, go back. There's really big armrests on this car. So if you do have adult occupants in the back, they're gonna like being able to actually rest their arm somewhere. In terms of amenities, you've got a pair of directional air vents, you've got a pair of USB-C charge ports, you've got a pair of map pockets with these hard backs on the seats so kids can kick away to their heart's content. You've got door pockets with bottle holders as well. Yeah, it's well sorted back here. If you do have kids, you've got ISO fixed points in the window seats and 3 top tethers as well. And you'll fit a rearward facing capsule or a forward facing baby seat. No hassles whatsoever. As I mentioned, this version is the entry-level S-Drive 18i, and it comes with a 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine. That's right, just 3 cylinders. You can see the power and torque outputs on your screen now. They are pretty decent for a little 3-pot engine. You do get a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission and front-wheel drive. I've got a few thoughts on that. I'll get to that in the driving section. And if you choose the X-Drive 20i, you get a bigger engine, a 2-litre 4-cylinder, still a turbocharged engine, still with a 7-speed dual clutch auto, but with all-wheel drive and a 30% power and torque bump. So that one does seem like a pretty enticing option. It is an affordable luxury SUV, and does it feel like an affordable SUV or a luxury SUV to drive? Well, it's a mix, actually. The 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine certainly isn't the most refined thing. 3-cylinder engines tend to have this sort of rumble and warble to them and a bit of a, I guess, unbalanced characteristic to them. I like that. I actually think that's one of their nicest attributes, but some people might not feel like they're getting the most refined, luxurious drive experience in this S-Drive 18i version of the X1. Now, part of that comes down to the at idle rumble that you notice. You do feel that it's rumbling away, and then when you put your foot down, hear that? It's a bit uncultured, you might say. But honestly, it's a pretty perky little engine. This is the same engine that they use in the Mini Cooper, and it works really well there. It works pretty well here too. This isn't the heaviest SUV. I mean, it's heavier than a Mini Cooper, but it is also still up for the task. It seems pretty livable to me in some ways. Now, why I say that is because it's got a 7-speed dual clutch automatic on the back of it, and that automatic transmission can be tedious. It's more the combination of the transmission, the engine, and the start-stop feature. So if you're unaware, start-stop cuts the engine off when you're at idle, and it'll stop you using fuel. So the idea is that it saves you fuel, but it can add to the frustration that you feel behind the wheel because it's cutting in and out all the time. And also, when it is cutting in and out, there is more noticeable lag to get away from a standstill again. So for argument's sake, you've just pulled up at a traffic lights, you're just waiting. Okay, the engine has stopped. You're waiting for the lights. Right, green, go. And we're away. As you can see, there is a bit of lag to contend with, and it can get frustrating. That's primarily the reason I would choose the 20i version, because I know that that 4-cylinder engine interacts a bit better with the start-stop technology, and it's just going to be a more livable experience generally. The steering is definitely geared towards city friendliness rather than ultimate outright driving enjoyment. It's light steering, and that means that it's going to be easy to park and easy to live with if you're going through roundabouts or that sort of thing. It is a little bit hard to judge at times. I find that there's kind of a dead patch on center, so when you're just on the straight ahead, it's just odd. It's just a bit odd. Yeah, so this bit of road, there's a few lumps and bumps, and you do feel them in the cabin, but it's not to the point of frustration or discomfort. The official combined cycle fuel consumption figure for the S-Drive 18i 3-cylinder version is 6.5 litres per 100 k's, which is very impressive on paper, at least. Now, that's what you should be able to achieve across a mix of driving. I've done a mix of driving in this car, and on your screen, you'll see what I achieved. Not quite 6.5 litres per 100. Then there's the more expensive, more powerful, all-wheel drive, bigger engined X-Drive 20i, and it uses 7.4 litres per 100 k's, at least on paper. The BMW X1 has scored the maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating based on Euro NCAP testing from 2022. So it's got all the stuff that you would expect it to have to achieve that sort of score, including autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist and junction detection. There's also rear AEB, which can detect pedestrians crossing the path behind the car and brake for you. That's pretty neat stuff to have. And there's also lane keeping assistance, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert as standard. It's got 7 airbags inside, including dual front, front side, full length curtain, and a front center airbag to prevent head clashes in the event of a side impact. So it's a safe thing. Oh, and I also like that it comes with a standard surround view camera on all grades. More SUVs should be coming with that. Australian consumers demand long new car warranties, and now BMW offers one as well, a 5-year unlimited kilometre plan, which is definitely good. And when it comes to servicing, there are a bunch of plans available. The most popular one is a 5-year 80,000 kilometre plan, and if you average it out, the prices are pretty competitive. The car will tell you when it needs to be serviced too. And if you buy a brand new BMW X1, you get 3 years of roadside assist included for free. Nice. The new generation BMW X1 is definitely a more BMW SUV experience than ever before for the X1 badge. So is the S-Drive 18i the one you should buy? Well, if you're on a budget, it's not going to be that bad to live with, but I don't think that it's the best X1 you can buy. I reckon the 20i could be a better X1 experience. But tell me what you think in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you, and if you haven't already, please do hit like and subscribe. It helps a lot. See you in the next one.